So today we're going to talk about how to assemble a Network Rover kit and then how to survey with that Network Rover. So a lot of guys ask me, how do I set up a proper Network Rover kit to work in my environment, to save the most amount of money, to have the most optimal results and accuracy and precision? So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about 4 things. What equipment you need for a Network Rover, how to assemble that equipment, how to start surveying with that equipment, and then finally, how to do an actual survey with that equipment. So before we get into what components make up a Network Rover, you need to know why you need a network. And you can't just use your rover out in the field. That's because we want to get RTK corrections. So if we just have a receiver like this, we're only going to have sub-meter solutions. So that's about 50 centimeters. But if we use a network or a base station, we can get RTK corrections. RTK stands for real-time kinematics, and it gives you a solution that's less than a centimeter horizontally in accuracy. That means if I go and I take a measurement at the same place 4 days apart, those 2 measurements shouldn't differ between 1 centimeter. So if that's the kind of accuracy you need, keep watching. What do you need for a Network Rover? Well, the first and most important thing you need for a Network Rover is a network. There's a lot of different network options, and I'm actually going to make a separate video in a couple weeks on the different networks that are available in the United States and in Canada, the pros and cons of all of them. But the important thing to remember when it comes to a network is the coverage. You have to have pristine coverage in your area, or a Network Rover is not a good solution. So networks are usually clustered around urban areas and in larger cities. So if that doesn't fit what you're doing, then a network solution's probably not for you. But if that does fit into what you're doing, then a Network Rover can save you a ton of money at your startup and make it a lot easier to start surveying. A lot of guys will ask me, how does a network actually work? And what a network is a collection of base stations that have been set up across an area. So there'll be a bunch of base stations that are set up across the province, and they're emitting signals. Now you can tie into those signals with a rover, a username, and a password. So the next thing you need for a Network Rover solution is, of course, your rover. There's a bunch of different options for Network Rovers, but 2 pieces of advice that I would say for anyone who's looking to get a Network Rover. 1, you should get one that has the ability to be a Network Rover as well as a network base. As you grow and develop your company, it gives you just a lot more versatility to use your base as a network base. The other thing that you want to be very conscientious about is make sure whatever GPS receiver you're getting also has the ability to do UHF corrections. That means radio corrections. The reason you would want that to be the case is if you're ever outside of your network capability, all you need to do is add a radio base and you're off to the races. I have a video that will show up over here on how to set up a base and rover unit, and that will kind of show what the advantages of that are over just a Network Rover. The next thing that you need to get for a Network Rover solution is a data collector, and this can just be Android, it can be Windows, it can be your phone. It really doesn't matter, it just needs something that can connect to your GPS receiver, and that's really it. Finally, you need a SIM card and software. So software is going to be field software that's just going to allow you to do this surveying. In today's example, we're going to be using Field Genius. Field Genius is definitely my favorite software just because it's quite agnostic, so it can be used on a bunch of different receivers. So if you buy Field Genius, you'll be able to use Field Genius software with a bunch of different receivers rather than being cornered into one software for one receiver, and then when you go and buy a new receiver, you have to buy a different kind of software. Field Genius allows you to get very budget-friendly as well as very high-end receivers, all while using the same software. So it really speeds up your workflow as you progress through your survey career. So now that we have the components of our Network Rover setup right here, what are we going to use specifically today? Today we're going to use the Nano 7. This is a budget-friendly receiver. It's great for on a network. We're going to use the BMT8 Android tablet. We're going to use Field Genius Android, and the network we're going to use is called Chinook, and it's powered by StormCaster. Now let's talk about how to set up our Network Rover. So the first thing we need to do when we're going to start surveying with a Network Rover is to connect to our network. So all we need to do is go select instrument. We have our Nano 7 right here. We're gonna click on edit. We're then very simply just gonna go on corrections. We have RTK via internet. we just collect our data source, which is our N-Tripped. It's going to be called Storm. Then we select our mount point, Calgary West. That's the one that's right over our heads. And then all we need to do is collect done, and then we're good to start surveying. So let's go outside so we actually get some good corrections and we can go see what we can see. So now we're outside. It's -20 Celsius, which is about -4 Fahrenheit. So it's a bit nippy, so we'll make this quick. So now that we have our corrections being received from our nearest mount point on our network, and we have a fixed solution, all we would need to do is we would need to go to our point. So let's say that clump of snow right over there, we want to go survey it. We just go right here, we select our point, we wait. That's a fixed solution, done. Now, one key advantage to having a network rover over a basin rover is ease of setup. As you saw, all we need to do is connect to our nearest mount point and we're off to the races. When you have a base system, there's a lot of extra work that you have to do and it might delay your work setup. For example, if we were using a base station, what we would have done is we would have set up our base right here on a tripod. We would have then connected our receiver to the base. We then would have had to localize on a point, and then we could only start surveying from that point. When we already have our reference to our network, that just eliminates a few steps for the surveyor. So if you're in an urban environment, it's really, really helpful to have a network rover. But again, and I can't stress this enough, you have to make sure that you're getting absolutely excellent corrections, because even though it makes it far easier to have a network rover solution, it's not worth compromising on precision and accuracy. So as long as you have a great network, go for it. It's a really great solution. It saves money, it saves time. So one final thing that I want to say before the end of the video is some people have the misconception that if you're using a network, you don't have to localize to the project that you're on. That's not true. To get precise and accurate measurements, you should always localize to your job. I will put a link in the description for a video specifically on localization, but in short, localizing is just tying into known local coordinates so that your measurements make sense with the measurements that have already been taken. If you think a network rover is a good solution for you, give me a call. I'm Ray or Rayal at Benchmark. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Have a great day.